The Wisdom's Reward, Part 1, Episode 2, March 1983. When I was born, the President Mobutu was in power. It was the time of retour à l'authenticité, which was characterized by the removal of European or foreign first names from our government identity document. Thus, in my birth certificate and my baptism card, it was just written Mushia Kalamba. I was without an official first name for a long time. However, as we like to watch the movies of a famous French actor, Louis de Funès, as a family, my mother gave me a little name, Darien, Darien, from one of his movies. I was called either Darien or Mushia. June 1983. At 3 months, the age I started to walk without support. I was baptized at the Saint Alphonse parish in Matete. Now that I think about it, the truth is I was very young to understand the meaning and the importance of this act of faith from my parents. Today, adult and mother, I'm forever grateful to my parents for this wonderful gift, the Lord's path. Through baptism, they put me on God's path, the path of life. Sinner, my mother conceived me, but at my baptism, I became a new creature, set apart for God. Lessons 1. The earlier you know God, the earlier you are protected, blessed, and led by Him. This is the best gift my parents offered me. Infinitely grateful to my parents. I am. 2. Before baptizing my son, I took a mandatory course of baptism preparation. This course taught me this: the sooner you enter the big family of God, the better. This is the first step towards sanctification. Therefore, it is crucial that we, parents, get involved, accompany our children in this path towards holiness, in this fight against evil. We must remain vigilant and anticipate these attacks to keep our children on the right path. 1985. We had a family trip to Kisantu, where we visited the magnificent botanical garden. Then we went to Mwanda and stayed at the Mangrove Hotel on the edge of the Atlantic Ocean. Before arriving in Mwanda, we stopped in Matadi, capital of the province of Central Congo, where we visited the bridge Maréchal and spent a night at the Metropole Hotel. After that, we transited in Boma and visited the famous baobab of Stanley. This year, this baobab turns more than 147 years old. Every year, many tourists flock to visit it because in 1877 it served as a shelter for the English explorer Henry Morton Stanley, as well as 385 slaves bought in Zanzibar. Finally, we went to the city of Badolite, stronghold of President Mobutu, and there we celebrated Christmas 1985. Lesson: travel as a family, face the unknown together, visit new places, historic places, and immortalize these moments with photos. Preciously keep these photos in albums with some comment or note next to each, such as the location and the date. Today, I am able to relate this fact in detail thanks to that. I was only 2 years old at that time. Hats off to Dad for this great example, this constant diligence in taking photos, event after event, then organizing them in chronological order in albums with explanatory note from the beginning of his marriage to this day. 1986. At 3 years old, I started kindergarten at Les Oisillons, an international private school led by a Belgian immigrant, Madame de Smet. I kept great memories of that school. In fact, this school gave me the taste to learn, to discover, to imagine, to appreciate a variety of beautiful things, and above all, it allowed me to meet different people and to rub shoulders with different cultures, personalities, and colors. This is where I made my first friendships, some of which last to this day. It was in that environment, rich in movement, color, and diversity, that I developed a sense of creativity, organization, and good time management. Truly, there was no room for boredom. Our teachers were passionate about their work. We were always preparing for either a craft or a show, either a carnival or a visit, such as the visit of Saint Nicholas, the patron of school children, every December 6th. To me, all these events seemed so well orchestrated just by looking at the quality of our costumes and the decoration of the performance hall. It was simply magical. During this time, my father felt it was important that we all learn to swim, including him. Therefore, he called on our physical education teacher, Professor Maluvanga, who passed away few years ago. Peace to his soul. At 3 years old, I learned to swim at the Okapi Hotel's swimming pool. I was terrified by water, despite the use of buoys. Among other roles, these buoys were intended to reassure me and then overcome my fear of water. Besides, my father did not spare me either. He once threw me into the water without my knowledge. This increased my fear and made me more tense to the point that I never wanted or knew how to dive. The movement or pirouette that occurs when diving once in the water made me dizzy and quite uncomfortable just thinking about it. Therefore, I developed a resentment for diving. I can still hear them all saying to me, "Dive, Darien, dive! Don't be afraid!" Alas, this encouragement froze me even more. I spent most of my time by the pool watching my elders who were having fun without being asked. My sister Virginie, very athletic, was the best swimmer of all of us. After a few learning sessions, each family member knew how to swim, except for my mother. Lessons. Looking back at my breaststroke learning, I realized that it was more than a swimming lesson because the lessons learned are applicable to our everyday lives. 1. Learning is gradual. Practice first with two buoys, then one buoy, then finally without a buoy. Second, at each session, Professor Maluvanga insisted on the following rules. 1. Keep your head above the water. The chin must touch the water, he specified. 2. To do the breaststroke correctly, stand up straight. Keep your hands together at chest level. Then extend your arms in a lateral and simultaneous movement. At the same time, your legs perform the movement similar to the legs of the frog in the water. That is to say, legs bent and apart to move forward. To parents, let us remember that everything can be learned. Let us be patient with our children as they learn. Let us not rush them. Everyone learns at their own pace. Before achieving execution, speed, automation, and expertise, encourage them. Let us explain to them the merit of everything they are learning. For example, let us explain to them that knowing to swim is a life saving skill. Let us reassure them that they are capable of doing good things, small and big, simple and complex, with time. Practice makes perfect.